talking about, there are two in particular, there are others, but there are two who look to stand in a way. This is one of them, Ewa Swoboda, and she is the European Under-23 champion at 100 metres and won the bronze medal last time round. And you know, it seems like she's been around a long time. She was such a good young talent as a teenager. Del Ponte is certainly having a very, very good season and wasn't too far behind Asher Philip in that semi-final, the Swiss, and then Mihalinic of Slovenia. But you throw in Daphne Skippers and Kambundji, then you can see the high quality we have here. So let's not forget that Kambundji won a bronze medal at the World Indoor Championships last year behind Talu and Ohure. And then you have, of course, Skippers, a two-time outdoor champion and world champion, but has won this title before. She won it before Asher did in 2017. And then we have this youngster in here, Crystal Awuha, the 19-year-old World Junior bronze medalist last year, and is acquitting herself very, very well this indoor season, and must be very excited about the prospect for her in the summer. So two British women in here. We saw a clip earlier on of Bev Kinch when Jane Christian was in the race with her. We were first and fourth on that occasion in 1984.
On your mark.
Skippers and then Swoboda. Swoboda, the one who seems so suited to the 60 metres. Good starter, smooth sprinting action, ideal for the 60. Has she got the nerves to hold it together here? Can Asher Philip repeat the victory from 2 years ago? Women's 60-metre final. Asher Philip gets a pretty good start, so did Kambundji, so did Awuha, but here comes Swoboda. Swoboda's going to take the gold medal from Skippers. It's 7:09, it's gold to Poland. I think Skippers got in there for the second, for the silver medal, and then it's tight after that. But look at Swoboda. Well, I said, could she stand up to the pressure? She was the standout athlete coming into these championships all season. She's been very, very good indeed. And the only question is, could she hold it together, put a performance in on the day? And the emotion starting to come through, and a shake of the head for Asher Philip. I think the warning signs were there for Asher, for me, Colin, earlier today and in the semi-final. She was going to have to be very, very good to beat Swoboda. Swoboda just looked to be getting better and better. And let's hand it to Skippers as well. Another big performance from the tall Dutch athlete. But the emotion of what this means for this young lady, a European title, beating a very good field.
Yeah, it's been a very good day for Poland. Gold medals left, right and centre. But this young lady, as you said, Steve, she showed so much promise as a youngster, and we've been desperate to see her really pull out a big performance as a senior. Today was her day. She was solid through the rounds. She was flawless in every way, and she came to this final knowing what her capabilities was. And when she exploded out the blocks, boy, oh boy, she put the whole field under pressure. And when you're in the groove already, as was said in the studio, it's very difficult to shake yourself out of it, and it was a race that only she could lose. People are going to work really hard to take the title from her. Very emotional. She's 21. Boy, oh boy. World's her oyster at this moment. Let's watch her here out of the blocks. No stress or strain. She knows there's talent inside her, but she's still keeping focused, and she drives toward the line. She's just losing a little bit of form as she's desperate to get to that line. But she did it, and actually, she did it quite comfortably.
And the two British women fighting for the bronze with Kambundji, and it's Asher Philip who's been given the verdict. At the same time as Awuha, this time did lean much better than she did earlier in the day. But Swoboda, the title and all of the plaudits really belong to her. Dominating performance really in the end. Skippers, as ever, finishing strongly. And it was a good run. Skippers actually had a very quick reaction time, the quickest of anybody in the race, but she takes a little while to get up to top speed, and that took her through to the silver. But Asher Philip is taking a bronze medal. She doesn't look too pleased with that, and that's a measure of the standard she sets herself, but she's just pipped her young teammate for the bronze.
Yeah, I think, you know, she was talking a lot about that possibility of breaking her own British record, and she'd managed to have done that today. That gold medal and that title she would have retained. But Swoboda has just been so brilliant through this championships, and it's hard to beat an informed sprinter who's confident with their running, consistent with their running. That's going to be always a really difficult challenge. But look at that, it was a real blanket finish, wasn't it, at the end? And Holland, the Netherlands, they've had a great day, haven't they? Medals in all the finals we've seen so far. So, a very strong day for the Dutch team.
And Poland, 1-2 in the pole vault. And 1,000th of a second, literally 1,000th of a second between bronze and fourth. That is like a literal hair width almost. So Asha Philip just ahead of the 19-year-old Crystal Awuha with a personal best. Superb performance from her, 7.15. Kambundji just 100th behind. Skippers just 100th ahead for the silver, but no doubt about the champion, Ewa Swoboda.
Well, Ewa Swoboda there, just so emotional. And Dina, you said you're so pleased. You've known her right through juniors, and she's never won any titles before.
I have, and she's always been so phenomenally talented, and she's kind of struggled with a few injuries over the years, but when she ran a 7:08 earlier this year, early in the season, John, my coach, and I, and among the training group as well, we thought this is going to be her year. But I would have loved to see Asha win, because obviously it was on home soil, but it was a great performance from Ewa.
You've got to keep the faith, haven't you? When you're such a talented junior, and the expectation of your country and of your friends and family, and then to take it up to this level and then to be able to deliver, I think shows her a very composed young lady, and hopefully she will kick on outdoors, even though I know she's a 60-metre specialist.
Let's have a look back at the race, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, she did the same thing she's done all through these championships. Just got a really good start there and just transitioned well out of the drive into her max velocity and just controlled the race from start to finish. She was under a little bit more pressure there out of the start than she had been in the past. We're not surprised. She's surprised for some reason, but we're not surprised because she did the exact same thing that she'd done.
Very little wastage. I mean, in terms of kids, young people watching and, looking at sprinting technique.
Yeah, this is how you do it. I mean, it's about efficiency at the end of the day. An efficient athlete is a faster athlete, and she's a master at that. Hopefully she can transition that to outdoors, but indoors, like you said, she's a specialist. And this is the type of championship that's really good for athletes like that who are trying to prove to themselves that you have the type of talent that you've shown from a potential standpoint, and now she's realized that in a championship. And this was just amazing. You could see what it meant to her. And she had an amazing athlete over there on the left in Skippers, who we talked about and said, you can't count her out, and she certainly put together a much better race here in the final than we've seen earlier in the rounds. Asha got up a little bit high again out of the blocks, and that's the problem. She comes on strong at the end, and she equips herself well, very patient there, because she's got that experience and she's been here and won this before. But just that initial out of the blocks, she gets a bit high, and that causes problems. But for her to get a bronze medal here, I think was really good for her, given she hadn't had an amazing season. She hadn't been running as fast as she had before in the past. So I think that was, I'm sure she's happy with that performance.
And the same time, obviously, as Crystal Awuha when they were